Hey there, it's Olivia-Savannah here from Olivia's Catastrophe, and today I'm here to announce the next round of All the World's a Page. All the World's a Page is a Shakespeare-inspired readathon that I host with Julia from Shakespeare and Such and Cara from Wild Book Garden, as we are all big fans of Shakespeare, and it's coming back around for 2023. The readathon is run from the 1st of April to the 30th of April, so you have the entirety of the month to read along with us, and make sure you check out all of the hosts for their announcement videos and also to keep an eye on the things that will be going on in this round of the readathon. So every single year we host it a little bit differently and mix it up, and this year I'm very excited to say that you will be building your own Shakespeare play fan fiction style. So how do you get to do this? Well, there'll be a link down below which will have the full Google Doc with all of the prompt lists, but essentially you get to pick and choose the elements to your play. So for the character prompt, you can either choose to have a singular protagonist, or you can choose to have lovers where you get to choose 2 protagonists, and feel free to mix and match, make some bisexual, gay or straight pairings, whatever you want, and fulfill the prompt for whichever character you choose. Then you get to do the same thing for plot and genre. You've also got to choose an antagonist, and you can choose stage directions and a setting if you want. Of course, you don't have to do all of them, and feel free to choose more than one setting if you want your play to go into different places, or if you want different characters to come in, you can choose more characters. So it's entirely up to you the way that you get to build or choose your own Shakespeare play. We'll also have some prompt cards that you can use to share about the readathon on Instagram and Twitter, and we have our own Twitter for All the World's a Page, which I'll leave a link to down below as well, where you'll be able to grab all of those prompt cards when they're ready for you. And as always, we encourage you to read diversely across the prompts, even if the prompts don't specifically demand for you to read diversely to fulfill them. But yeah, the main thing here is just to have fun, and we've done it in a way where you can choose to read Shakespeare plays for the prompts, and you could choose to read Shakespeare retellings, but you don't have to join in. We'll also be having reading sprints throughout the month, and we'll be announcing those over on our Twitter, so make sure you check that out, but also make sure you're subscribed to all of the hosts so you don't miss any of the fun reading sprints we have planned throughout the month of April. And as tradition continues, you know, Shakespeare loves a good tradition, we are going to be doing another watch along with live reactions across our Twitters. We will have a poll to kind of decide which Shakespeare version or which Shakespeare play or retelling we're gonna watch, so make sure you're again followed all of those things. And seeing as I never do TBR videos anymore, I thought it'd be fun for me to show you what I've chosen to build my Shakespeare play as in this video, and then stick around my channel, because in the month of April I'll be vlogging the entirety of the month, and you'll be able to see what I actually end up reading and my thoughts on them. Hopefully some Shakespeare involved books, but who knows when it comes to me being a mood reader. I had way too much fun building my Shakespeare play. I hope you all have fun doing the same thing too, but I just love Shakespeare so much that I wanted to mess around and make it as chaotic as possible, because Shakespeare loves the drama, he loves the chaos. So for my protagonist, I chose Lady Macbeth. I actually never was the biggest fan of Macbeth until I reread it, and I wrote my exam essay partly on Macbeth, and I thought, you know what, Lady Macbeth, she is as iconic as everyone says, and I want the love interest for Lady Macbeth to be Hamlet, because listen, if you put Lady Macbeth and Hamlet together and make them lovers, can you imagine the level of chaos? That is just chaos by the pairing itself, let alone with Hamlet being his kind of very well thought out and planned person. But also Lady Macbeth, she seems to be very scheming and manipulative, and she really thinks ahead, and I think they both are, even though Hamlet sometimes feigns, or I believe that he feigns insanity and chaos, he's actually a very meticulously planned and poignant and smart person. I think they both are, so them together as lovers is going to be chaotic. Lady Macbeth's prompt is to read a book for a project or towards a goal. I don't tend to have many other than try and keep my TBR reasonable, but I do have one, and that is to read the oldest books on my TBR. I've been making this a yearly thing, so I think I'll be reading one of the oldest books on my TBR that I haven't read yet in April for that prompt. And then Hamlet's one is to read a book from a series that I'm trash for, and there are so many authors and series that I'm trash for that it's actually not going to be that hard. Sorry, I just find it so funny how easy it is. I can think of Grey Warren, which I still need to read, The River of Ink by S.A. Chakraborty. I could read Husband Material by Alexis Hall. There are so many authors I'm trash for. This prompt, it's not going to be hard for me to fulfill. For my antagonist, I chose Tybalt, okay? And I love Romeo and Juliet. I think it's a great play, and I think retellings have been done to the death of this play, and maybe some of his other lesser known plays should get some retellings, but nonetheless, I still stand at Romeo and Juliet, and I'm here for it. And Juliet kind of ricocheted my love for Romeo and Juliet to another level. Tybalt is impulsive, he is chaotic, and I think by having my two lovers and protagonists be so very meticulously planning and scheming people, having Tybalt as this impulsive antagonist coming in, more chaos. So for Tybalt's prompt, you need to mood read a book because he's so impulsive, choose impulsively. I am a big mood reader, so I won't have any problem fulfilling that prompt either. For supporting character, I picked Laertes, and that is simply because of the prompt rather than because of him. And his prompt is a book to do with siblings or a sibling relationship. I love reading books about siblings. I have 3 sisters, we're all pretty close. So I'm looking forward to reading for this prompt, and I also chose Laertes because I think he will die. You know, I think if we're going to put Lady Macbeth, Hamlet and Tybalt and Laertes in a room, Laertes gonna die, okay? So I'm looking forward to having character die in my play. I'm all about the death storylines. I love a good tragedy. So for setting, I chose forest. I do think Shakespeare's plays where forests are involved and like magical forests and chaos happening in the forests, they're often a lot of fun. And for the forest prompt, you need to read a book with nature or plants on the cover, which I can definitely do. Floral covers are in right now and I'm loving the vibe of it. For the genre and plot prompt, I realised we don't have tragedies on our prompt list, which is a fault on our part because the tragedies are my favourite Shakespeare play. But you know what I also love? A drama. If you couldn't tell from the way that I set this up, I wanted my play to be as dramatic as possible, and so I've chosen the drama prompt. And for that, you need to read a trope that you enjoy. I love loads of tropes. My favourite trope of all time is found family, so I can read a book that has a found family in it. My other favourite tropes are fake dating and friends to lovers, specifically when friends fake date and become lovers. So if I can find a book with that in, it'd be nice. And then another trope that I really enjoy that I don't talk that much about is enemies to co-workers, so not to lovers, but where they have to begrudgingly work together and don't fall in love. I love that, and it'd be really nice to find a book that has that in it, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. And the last prompt is stage directions, and you know me, I'm all about the grief, I'm all about the death, I'm all about killing off characters, so I chose the stage prompt direction. He dies. I love it. I love it. Shakespeare's tragedies are full of characters dying, and as I said, I want Laertes to die in my play, so he dies is probably going to refer to him. And for that prompt, you need to read a book that's emotional to you, and I love reading sad books. I find them very emotional. I also find them very touching, and they often run quite deep. I've got plenty of books about grief on my shelves, which you can see behind me, so I won't have any trouble finding a book for that either. So there you have it. As you can see, all of the prompts are very open-ended. I would love if you were joining us in April. Please let me know in the comment section down below. Are you joining us in April? Let me know what's one of your favourite Shakespeare plays or favourite Shakespeare characters. I'll also be linking in the description box a few of my Shakespeare themed videos. I have read all of Shakespeare's works, so I have a video where I tier rank every single work that every single one of Shakespeare's plays, not all of his works. I have a video on how I read Shakespeare. I did a guest video with Book Break where I reacted to your unpopular Shakespeare opinions. I have plenty of them, so make sure you don't miss out by checking that out in the description box down below. But without further ado, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'm holding my phone because I looked at the prompts. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to be updated every time I have a new video. And you know what they say, onwards and upwards. Excelsior! That was me like crouching down to put my phone down.